Hey guys, Kentageon here with a kind of impromptu, very serious video. Most serious video that has ever been on my channel, and probably the most serious one that will be on my channel for a long time to come. Many of you probably already know by now, but over the weekend, a very popular YouTuber came out on Twitter as being a pedophilic individual. And this individual, after being pressured to admit to it, posted pictures of another YouTuber who is just a child. There's been a lot of backlash against him, thankfully. His YouTube career is done. I'm not going to talk anymore about him or what he did because basically he's done for. But I want to address the problem as a whole because everyone's looking in the direction now that they should have always been looking in, the direction of vigilance. The Minecraft community is now under a lot of scrutiny because there are probably a lot of people like this predator in that community preying on kids who are none the wiser. So hopefully that will die down as people become more vigilant, but my problem here is that we're not doing anything to solve the issue. This is not the first time this has happened. There is a glorified chat room that existed when I was a teenager and still exists. It's called Habbo Hotel. It's mostly popular in Europe, in the UK, and a few years back, the same thing happened. There were instances of people trying to lure kids from that glorified chat room game, whatever you want to call it, out and into their own homes. There was a big ordeal, and I think since they've clamped down on it, I don't really pay attention to it at all, but the point is that this has happened before, and it's going to happen again. Minecraft is not the end of this, and Minecraft is likely going to be continuing to fade in popularity for some time to come, but when it goes, it's not going to ever go completely, but it's going to leave a void. And that void is going to be filled by something else that kids are going to like. And once that something else appears, there are going to be predators that also find their way into it. So the question I have for everyone watching this is, what exactly do we do about it apart from being vigilant? And I word that question this way because I think as a society we are not doing nearly as much as we can do to stop this from happening. And I'm not saying that it will ever stop completely, but I think we can mitigate it quite a bit more than we are doing so. Let me explain. So, we have to first figure out where we stand right now. And it's easy to see that people are doing things, but these things aren't exactly the right things to be doing in my mind. For instance, there are places like Corpus, Cristi, Texas, where signs are being put in front of sex offenders' houses. I believe this also happened in Florida, but I can't verify right now. Here's a picture. Now, I can see why people would think this is a good idea and where their good intentions come from, but we also have to pay attention to people's attitudes towards this as a whole. And you need to look no farther than Facebook to see what people think about pedophiles at large. Take this picture, for instance. Pedophile eyeglasses. And think for a moment. We're putting signs in front of people's houses, and we're advocating outright murdering them. We're essentially posting a big bullseye in front of the houses of people who are convicted after they've committed their crimes. This is not going to help. And why isn't it going to help? Because let's create a hypothetical scenario here. There's a pedophilic individual. And this individual hasn't committed any crimes yet. He wants to. He knows what he wants to do is wrong, but he still wants to do it. He could turn himself in, but what does that mean? Let's assume for a moment he's my age. He's in his 30s. He has a decent career. You know, he's done his best to meld with society. If he were to admit to, say, his family, chances are most of them would have the opinions that everyone else has, and he'd be disowned. If he would admit to his boss, hey, I have a problem, I need help, he'd probably lose his job. He would become a pariah in no time at all. Now, what incentive does this individual have to turn themselves in before they go and do something that will ruin someone's life? None. I mean, because they're going to become an outcast in society, they're going to lose all their friends, they're not going to actually receive any real help. I mean, even if they do, it's going to be after they've lost everything. And I think this is part of a larger problem with America's obsession with punishment of crimes rather than correction. But that's another story. I want to stay focused on the topic at hand. Because I think as a society we need to work on acknowledging that these people probably are not in control of their desires. I don't think for a moment that most pedophiles are thinking, I want to ruin the lives of kids. They can't control who they're attracted to, just as homosexuals are attracted to people of the same sex, bisexuals, both sexes, and whatnot. I think that with enough research, we'll find that there is pedophilia rooted somewhere in the brain. Thus, these people aren't psychopathic individuals. In the best case, they're fighting one of the strongest urges that humans as a whole feel, because sexuality is our base instinct. It's the whole point we exist, to reproduce. If it is not working properly in some individuals, it's still that strong instinct. They can fight it, but inevitably they're going to lose that fight. So, I want to know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you really think we should be on a witch hunt here for anyone who might be pedophilic, who hasn't even committed a crime yet? Or should we wait, like with this individual, until they've committed a crime and then hang them out to dry? Now, I'm not justifying anything this person did. Especially after posting the pictures of the other individual who he's hurt. It's inexcusable. I personally know someone whose life has been altered much for the worse because of individuals like this. So, it's tough to think of a solution, but we have to focus on more than just being reactive. We have to focus on getting people with these problems to come forward and not destroying their lives for doing so. If there's an individual suffering from this and they come forward, we should be positively reinforcing that. We should get them all the help they need and keep them away from those they might harm. But at the same time, we cannot turn them into pariahs, or else they're never going to be incentivized to make the choice that they can make, to make the choice to help the problem before it turns into the destruction of someone else's life. Now, I have actually argued extensively about this with others. I've lost friends over this, so I really would like your guys' opinion. And I've not monetized this video at all, so I just think that my opinion is worth sharing on this. That's why I decided to make it, because a lot of people are focusing on the reactive part of it. Make sure you tell your parents if someone's talking to you. Parents, watch your kids on Minecraft, but this is so short-sighted. It's not going to solve the problem, because Minecraft is going to come and go. Something else is going to replace it, and we are going to become complacent again. We need to focus on addressing the problem before it becomes a problem, and incentivizing those who might be suffering from it, those who might be predators and trying to fight it, to do the right thing and stop it and seek help before they hurt someone. Anyway, that's my opinion on the matter. I would greatly appreciate it if you shared this with others. I want to know what other people think. If you disagree with me, I'd really love to hear why. And yeah, that's just all I've got to say about that. It's really tragic that things like this happen, but I do think that we can come together and change the attitudes of society at large to come up with a better solution that will prevent this from happening in the future.